Why won't Iran surrender? The hidden powers behind Iran's defiance. Some countries bend under pressure. Others break, but a few stand their ground no matter how intense the pressure becomes. Iran belongs to that last category. For decades, Iran has faced sanctions, isolation, economic pressure, covert operations, and repeated threats of military confrontation. Yet, despite all of this, the country continues to resist external pressure. Many people around the world ask the same question again and again. Why won't Iran surrender? At first glance, the answer may seem simple. Some observers say it is about ideology. Others believe it is about national pride. Some argue it is purely political. But when you take a deeper look at the situation, you begin to realize that Iran's resistance is built on a complex web of history, geography, military strategy, political structure, and national identity. Iran's defiance is not the result of one single factor. Instead, it is the product of many different forces working together over decades. These forces create a system that makes surrender not only difficult, but almost impossible without fundamentally transforming the entire country. To truly understand why Iran refuses to surrender, we must explore the deeper foundations of its power. The story begins thousands of years ago. Iran is not a young country that recently appeared on the map. It is one of the oldest civilizations in human history. Long before many modern nations existed, Persia, the historical predecessor of Iran, was one of the most powerful empires in the world. The Persian Empire once stretched across vast regions of the Middle East, Central Asia, and parts of Europe and Africa. At its height, it governed millions of people from different cultures, languages, and religions. This long and powerful history has left a deep imprint on the Iranian national psyche. Many Iranians grow up hearing stories about their ancient heritage. They learn about emperors, battles, conquests, and periods when Persia was one of the dominant powers of the ancient world. These historical memories shape how many people see their country today. When external pressure is applied to Iran, many citizens do not simply see it as a political conflict. Instead, they often interpret it as another chapter in a long historical struggle between Iran and outside powers. Throughout its history, Iran has experienced numerous invasions and foreign interventions. From ancient wars with Greek forces to invasions by Mongol armies and later conflicts involving European empires, Iran has repeatedly faced external threats. Yet, despite these challenges, the country survived and maintained its cultural identity. This long record of survival has created a strong sense of resilience within Iranian society. The idea that Iran must endure and resist outside domination is deeply embedded in the country's collective consciousness. But history alone cannot explain Iran's defiance. Another key factor lies in the political transformation that took place in 1979. That year, Iran experienced a dramatic revolution that reshaped the entire political system. The Iranian Revolution overthrew the monarchy of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi and replaced it with a new Islamic Republic led by religious leadership. This revolution did not simply change the government. It redefined the country's entire ideological direction. The leaders of the revolution believed that Iran had been too heavily influenced by Western powers, particularly the United States. They argued that the country needed to reclaim its independence and build a political system that reflected its own religious and cultural values. Since that moment, resistance to external influence has become one of the core principles of the Iranian state. Within the political narrative of the Islamic Republic, standing up to powerful foreign nations is not merely a strategic choice. It is presented as a moral duty and a symbol of national sovereignty. If Iran were to surrender under pressure, many leaders within the system would view it as a betrayal of the revolutionary ideals that shaped the country's current political identity. This ideological dimension plays a major role in Iran's refusal to back down. However, ideology alone does not explain Iran's durability. The structure of the Iranian political system itself also contributes to its resilience. Unlike many countries where power is concentrated in a single office or leader, Iran's system distributes authority across multiple institutions. At the top sits the supreme leader, who holds ultimate authority over the military and major strategic decisions. Beneath that leadership are elected officials, including the president and parliament, as well as powerful advisory and oversight bodies. This layered structure makes the system difficult to dismantle quickly. If one part of the government weakens, other institutions remain in place. Another key pillar of Iran's stability is its powerful military organization known as the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, often referred to simply as the Revolutionary Guard. The Revolutionary Guard was created after the 1979 revolution to protect the new political system from internal and external threats. Over time, it evolved into one of the most influential institutions in the country. The organization controls significant military forces, intelligence networks, and economic assets. It also plays a major role in shaping Iran's foreign policy and regional strategy. Because the Revolutionary Guard is deeply embedded within the political and security structure of the country, any attempt to force Iran into surrender would face resistance not only from the government, but also from this powerful military institution. Beyond political structures and military organizations, geography also plays an important role in Iran's strategic position. Iran is a vast country with rugged mountains, deserts, and large urban centers spread across enormous distances. Its terrain creates natural defensive advantages that make large-scale military operations extremely difficult. Historically, armies that attempted to invade Iran often struggled with the country's geography. Supply lines become stretched, communication becomes difficult, and forces must navigate challenging landscapes. These geographic conditions mean that any military campaign against Iran would require enormous resources and sustained effort. Iran's population also contributes to its resilience. With roughly 90 million people, Iran has one of the largest populations in the Middle East. This demographic scale provides the country with significant manpower and economic potential. A large population also makes long-term occupation extremely challenging for any outside force, but Iran's strategy does not rely solely on conventional military power. Instead, the country has developed a unique approach known as asymmetric warfare. This strategy focuses on using unconventional tactics to offset the technological superiority of stronger adversaries. Rather than attempting to match other nations weapon for weapon, Iran invests heavily in systems designed to complicate and disrupt enemy operations. These include ballistic missiles, fast attack naval units, drone technology, cyber capabilities, and mobile rocket systems. Many of these tools are designed to create uncertainty and impose high costs on opponents. One of the most important strategic locations in the world lies near Iran's southern coastline. This narrow waterway, known as the Strait of Hormuz, connects the Persian Gulf to the open ocean. A significant portion of the world's oil supply passes through this strait every day. Iran's geographic proximity to this crucial shipping route gives it the ability to threaten global energy markets during times of conflict. Even the possibility of disruption can send shockwaves through international oil prices. This strategic leverage acts as a powerful deterrent against large-scale military escalation. In addition to its domestic capabilities, Iran has spent decades building relationships with allied groups across the Middle East. These networks extend Iran's influence far beyond its borders. In countries such as Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, and Yemen, groups aligned with Iran maintain political or military influence. These alliances serve multiple purposes. They help Iran project power across the region, create additional layers of deterrence, and complicate the strategic calculations of rival powers. If a direct conflict were to occur, it would likely not remain confined to Iran's territory. Instead, it could spread across multiple fronts throughout the region. This potential for regional escalation makes any confrontation far more dangerous and unpredictable. Another important factor is Iran's economy. Although the country has faced heavy sanctions for many years, it still possesses substantial natural resources. Iran holds some of the world's largest reserves of oil and natural gas. These resources provide a critical source of revenue and ensure that the country retains long-term economic value. Sanctions have undoubtedly weakened Iran's economy and created hardship for many citizens. Inflation has surged at times, and unemployment remains a serious issue. Yet, despite these challenges, the country has adapted in various ways. Iran has developed alternative trade networks, expanded domestic industries, and pursued economic partnerships with countries willing to bypass Western sanctions. This ability to adapt has allowed the government to maintain a functioning economy even under significant international pressure. Another key dimension of Iran's strategic posture involves its nuclear program. For years, Iran has insisted that its nuclear activities are intended for peaceful energy production and scientific research. However, many countries remain concerned that the program could eventually enable the development of nuclear weapons. The possibility that Iran might one day acquire such capabilities has become one of the most sensitive issues in global diplomacy. Even without possessing nuclear weapons, the knowledge and technology associated with nuclear development can provide strategic leverage. The mere possibility that Iran could advance further in nuclear technology influences how other nations approach negotiations and conflict. Beyond politics, military strategy, and economics, there is also a powerful psychological element within Iranian society. Living under decades of sanctions and political tension has shaped the mindset of many citizens. While opinions inside Iran are diverse and often divided, many people share a sense that their country has been unfairly targeted by external forces. In situations like this, external pressure can sometimes produce the opposite effect from what outside powers intend. Rather than weakening national unity, it can strengthen feelings of solidarity and resistance. When populations believe their country is under threat from foreign powers, some individuals rally around national identity even if they disagree with certain aspects of their government. This phenomenon has occurred many times throughout history in different countries. Finally, there is the question of what would happen if Iran actually collapsed or surrendered under overwhelming pressure. Iran is a large and complex country with a strategic position in a volatile region. The sudden breakdown of its political system could create enormous instability. Civil conflict, refugee crises, and the uncontrolled spread of weapons could quickly follow. For this reason, many international actors approach the situation cautiously. The consequences of destabilizing a country of Iran's size could ripple across the entire Middle East and beyond. When all these factors are combined, ancient history, revolutionary ideology, political resilience, geographic advantages, unconventional military strategy, regional alliances, natural resources, nuclear capability, and national psychology, the picture becomes clearer. Iran's refusal to surrender is not based on a single decision or policy. It is the result of an entire system built around endurance and resistance. Whether that system can continue to withstand future pressures remains an open question. Global politics continues to evolve, and the balance of power in the Middle East is constantly shifting. But one thing is certain. Understanding Iran requires looking beyond headlines and slogans. It requires recognizing the deep historical, cultural, and strategic forces that shape the decisions of a nation that has spent centuries learning how to survive in a difficult and often hostile environment. And that is why, even under extraordinary pressure, Iran continues to stand its ground. The question the world continues to ask is not only why Iran refuses to surrender. The bigger question is how long this delicate balance between resistance and confrontation can last before history enters a new and unpredictable chapter.